slight percentages, I think, over the years start that ball rolling, but to really get in, like the action of it started the week of, I think, Thanksgiving, maybe. I'd have to look at a calendar to figure out dates exactly. I remember like times and places of where I was when I would get phone calls and such. And I had a CFFC show coming up, I think. So I got a call from Nick Kahn, and he was just like, "Hey, we want to talk to you." And I was like, "Cool. On my way to the gym, and I got this coming up, CFFC. I'll be back there. Cool. You want to talk Monday? Great." So it was the week of Thanksgiving, Monday. I spoke to him.
And to be clear, for those that may not know, Survivor Series was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Yeah. Thanksgiving is a Thursday.
Yeah, so Monday before I came back.
That's 5 days away from Survivor Series.
Yeah.
You get the call.
Yeah.
What was that call like?
I think the call, I'm always so nervous about pulling the curtain back on stuff, but I think the call was more of a, hey, we want to talk to you about coming back. We'd love you for Royal Rumble. And because they assumed that I probably had some sort of a non-compete or something like that, and were kind of floored when I was like, "No, man, I'm ready to go. Let's do it." Saturday.
Did you ever have a non-compete, even if it was for a month?
No.
Zero. You could have signed the next day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nick said, "I really wish I knew that." Sorry, man. I didn't call or tell anybody. I just kind of laid low for a minute.
So from that phone call to a deal being struck, how long does it take?
I mean, every single minute of all those days, it really ramped up because it was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about coming back." Okay, this is how I feel. Oh, well, this is how I feel. Okay, great. I'd really love to talk to Triple H. And it's funny now because everybody calls him Paul.
Right.
So I'll go to Barclays after this later today, and somebody will come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I was talking to Paul about this, and we need you to do this, and blah blah blah." And for the entirety of the conversation, I'll be like, "Why is Paul Heyman?" Oh, they mean Paul. So that's a generational thing. I always call him Triple H or Hunter. That's what it is. And then when I spoke to him, that's when the ball really got rolling, because it was a very, I asked him if he wanted to talk on the phone, and he said, "No, I would actually rather I would like to FaceTime you so I can see you." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," and we just talked about a whole lot of stuff, and about stuff that was at one point serious to probably both of us that is like silly now, and we just kind of laughed and buried a hatchet. And then we started talking business, and I was like, "Man, this is like Thanksgiving. I don't want to bother you. You're with your girls, we can talk about it later." But then I was just like, "Oh, well, Friday, and then the show's Saturday." It all got done very, very fast. My lawyer was not stoked to be working OT on Thanksgiving, but he gets paid handsomely. So,
did you feel like that conversation had to happen for this to proceed and be successful? Like you couldn't just show up on Saturday at the arena without having that conversation with him?
I think there's a world where it very much didn't have to happen, but I think we're both men. I think we're both gonna talk about stuff, especially when it comes to business. But I do think it was important knowing where we wanted to go to talk about stuff and get it all out of the way.
How long was it, the initial FaceTime call?
Oh, God, I don't know, Ariel. We chatted for a while, we because I saw him, I don't know when it was, where I went to the building to visit people and I got thrown out.
That was in May, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, so I saw him for like a heartbeat there. So I think obviously things happen behind the scenes in sports, and they take on lives of their own, and people run with it, and people might not know like the details, and so of course everybody thinks, we hate each other, like on-site fist fight, hate each other. And I don't know if that was ever the case, but that's kind of what we needed to talk about. And I saw him back in May, and and then I think he had to make a phone call, and somebody was like, "Now get him out of the building." All right, cool.
Was that Vince's call?
Yeah.
And did you show up unannounced?
Yeah.
No one invited you?
Yeah, I was, again, I love plugging CFFC. We have a show coming up, by the way, April 12th in Atlantic City.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You'll be on the call for that?
I will be on the cans.
I love it.
Yeah.
You do a great job with those.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I did a CFFC in, I want to say Orlando or Tampa. I can't remember. And I was on a flight back to Chicago, and I was sitting next to a guy named Jason Jordan, he was a wrestler, got a neck injury, and now he's been a producer for WWE for quite some time. And like the last time I saw him was every bit of a decade ago when I was doing like some charity stuff for Steve Kern. This is pre-NXT. It was called FCW. Mm-hmm. And I see him, and I'm looking at him, and like he looks at me, and he says hi, and I'm like, oh shit, dude doesn't recognize me, okay, And then all of a sudden he turns and he looks, and he's like, well, holy shit, what are you doing here? And I was like, yeah, I thought it was you, and I'm chatting with him, and I see all these other wrestlers getting on the plane and stuff like that, and then there's a whole gap. There's a generation of people that I never met that started pretty much right after I left, 2014, 2015. Nice lady by the name of Liv Morgan helped me find my earbuds that fell out of my pocket while I was sleeping on the flight. She was a sweetheart. She whole plane empties, and she's like on her hands and knees, like looking around. She got small hands. She's like digging under the seats and and looking for stuff. And then my friend Bailey messaged me, and she's like, "Oh, my friend Liv was on the flight with you. She says you were so nice to her." I was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, we have a show in Chicago. You should come visit." Throwing Bailey under the bus now. Yeah, it's all her fault. And then I laughed because I landed, got on the train, went home, and I was, I'm no wife, no dog. I don't have anything to do. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go visit my friend Bailey. And I went.
And that was your first time back since 2014, backstage at a WWE event.
Yeah.
And did it feel good? Did you feel on edge? Because I thought when I asked you at the top here, like, when did the ball start rolling, I thought maybe it started then, but you were still under contract, right, with AEW?
I went to visit people.
There was no ulterior motive.
I'm the old timer in the business, and there's a show in town. I wasn't trying to get a job or anything. I literally went, and I like the few people that I saw before I got thrown out. It was all, I saw Miz, saw Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, like everybody is just so nice and kind, and that's the only reason I went, maybe for free catering. Yeah.
Were you mad that they asked you to leave, or
no,
did you understand?
I expected it. I expected that to go. I wasn't sure if Vince was there, I think he was doing stuff remote via Zoom, because this is in between, like, Vince is gone, now he's back. And I didn't know the politics of things. I just went to go say hi to Bailey, a few other people.
Did anyone from AEW get mad that you were there?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about that.
I think the word betrayed was used, and I was just like, all right, man. Like, as a company, you're allowing guys to go on their television show to do things. I went backstage to say hi to friends. It's two completely different things. Like, if you're going to be mad about it, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So back to November. That ball starts to roll. Survivor Series is Saturday. Mm-hmm. My understanding was, correct me if this is right or wrong, my understanding was you show up, and I think the show has already begun. You only signed your contract after you appeared on TV. Is that accurate?
No, they would never. I don't think they would ever have allowed me to even be on television without signing something. Okay. I literally, like, on the phone with okay, all right, sign, go.
Okay, so maybe I got the time.
I signed, and then walked into Gorilla, and it was like the most crowded elevator. Like, there was just everyone just turns and looks, and jaws drop on the floor, and people are like, what? And then the world saw what came next.
How many people do you think knew that you were gonna appear that night?
I'd be surprised if you needed, more than two hands to count. You know?
So we had Becky on the show last week. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw her comment. She said that her husband Seth didn't know, Colby didn't know, and that he was not happy about that. And other people have said this, and I don't know, right? Like I'm just taking their words at face value. Is that accurate? Did all these guys not?
Oh, I don't know.
You certainly didn't tip them off.
No. I was in the same boat as everybody else, where like the weeks leading up to it, they were doing all these weird little things that happen too often to seem to be coincidences. Oh, somebody uses the GTS. Somebody says best in the world, and on their face you go, that doesn't matter. But I'm sitting at home going, should I be tanning? Like I haven't spoke to anybody. I don't know what's going on. People are messaging me. They're like, "Oh, you're coming back. We're so excited." I'm just like, it's just another day in professional wrestling where, for some reason I'm like a magnet for that stuff. But I didn't tell anybody, and I think that's why it was a secret and it was such a shock. My wife knew. Nick, Triple H, lawyers. That's who knew on my side. I text my family, like my sisters and stuff, while I was, don't text and drive.
Yes, please.
Don't do it. It was voice text, voice, voice to text. I was in my car driving to the Allstate, which is the Rosemont. It's always going to be the Rosemont Horizon to me. Yeah.
That's when you told your family.
That's when I said, "Hey guys, just heads up. I'll talk to you all about it in depth tomorrow. This came together really, really fast. I'm on my way to the building right now."
Were you holding out hope with all those clues being dropped back in Chicago? You're a free man. Were you hoping to get that call? Were you not sitting around and being like, "Oh gosh, I hope they call me," but like, was there someone in the back of your mind saying like, "This would be nice. I'm ready for this"?
Yeah, the wrestling booker in my head was like, "Oh, this is the sweet spot. This is the business. This is what you do." But I wasn't desperate for, like a job or anything like that. Which makes it sound like I'm not grateful for where I'm at right now, which is the exact opposite. Like it's been an absolute dream thus far. So yeah, like I can't turn that part of my head off. The wrestling booker, I'm always doing, oh, this is, so that part's always going to be in motion.
What is that feeling like when you walk out? Even like those seconds before the music is going to hit, and then you walk out to that reception back on WWE television for the first time in almost 10 years. Like, can you even put that into words? What is that like?
No, I can't put it into words. I can almost tell you just how, what we do is like ephemeral, right? It's gone. It happens and it's gone. What we leave people with are like lasting memories and moments. And I have been fortunate enough, no matter what anybody says, like how overrated I am, how shitty I am, how I don't deserve whatever. Man, I've made some great moments, and just when I think, okay, that's the top, it can't get any better than that, I have another one. And then when I think, wow, that's cool, I squeaked out another one. How lucky am I? It happens again. And that was one of them, like when it's so loud in the building and it's your favorite building in the world to perform in, you can't hear your entrance music. And we're all performers. We all have cues based on our music. How long the song is, what you can do. And I didn't have any parameters of, okay, we're crashing to break. So I'm like, I'm milking the whole song. And then I went out there and I went, I can't hear the song because people were so loud. It was like watching a Blackhawks game in the Chicago Stadium in 1989 or something like that. It was pure magic.
And then when you go backstage after that, What is the reception like? Because now you're out in the open, right? Now everyone is able. What did you feel?
I mean, there's cameras in my face the entire time. I'm sure at some point everyone will see that footage, but everyone's hooting and hollering, and you're the belle of the ball. People are slapping you on the back, they're kissing you on the mouth, they're hugging you. Everybody's stoked to see you. Everything's welcome back. Everybody. It is very infectious. Like I still do it. Like I very much, even if I'm not involved in something, like say Rock coming back, like I don't want to get in the way, but I want to be in that room just because I want to feel that energy. And it's I might learn something. even just standing here, fly on the wall. Like I might learn something. Because a lot of times when it's you and you're the one creating that buzz and you're creating that moment and that energy, it might get lost on you, or you're thinking about performing. So I like being the fly on the wall where I don't got no pressure, I ain't got shit to do, so I can just kind of watch stuff. But yeah, being backstage after that, like that's 100% a moment that you just don't want it to end.
You said on the Monday after, you said I'm home, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because obviously WWE so big in your career, but does this feel like the same place that you left 10 years ago? Meaning,
it does not.
In what way?
So somebody said this to me, and I get uncomfortable when I'm talking about myself, my contributions. It's very hard to do without sounding supremely egotistical, right? I'm always trying to be on the back foot and be humble and stuff, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't be in the industry if it wasn't for me. And I'm not saying that, I'm just talking about inspiration. I'm not saying that I help them in any way, the same way that I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Brett or Roddy Piper or, the guys that paved the way for me. Even if I was just a fan of them on television without developing relationships with them, like they're the reason I'm here. So there's a lot of that. And it's hard for me to talk about, like what I've done and all that. But somebody explained it to me like this. They said, I'm super glad you're back here so you can experience the culture backstage that you helped create. Because you were a catalyst for this, and then you left. And now you're back, and I'm glad you get to enjoy it and see the fruits of your labor. And that hit me right here. I was just like, that's really cool.
And you notice it.
That. Oh yeah.
It's palpable.
Yeah.
And could you explain, like, what is the difference? Is it just people are friendlier? Is it people are more welcoming?
Again, I struggle with pulling the curtain back because a lot of the times, like if you were just to straight up ask me, how's the locker room? I want to say none of your business.
Okay. I get that.
Because we give away so much. And a lot of the times it hurts us as performers, as pro wrestlers. Like we're giving away too much, So it's almost like I want everybody to believe all the bullshit and the lies about me because it's just it helps me make more money. It helps me draw more money. I just want all those people, like if you're going to believe all that wild, crazy bullshit, like believe it and then just leave me the fuck alone. But that's the thing, is like they can never just leave me alone. Everybody's always talking and chirping. It's different in a sense that I'm not going to say friendlier. No, fuck it. I am going to say friendlier. But you have to realize, like, to talk about the way the culture is now, you have to talk about the way the culture was when I got there. And I showed up, and it was very much Shark Tank, cutthroat, super competitive, and everybody looked at me like, fuck you, why are you here, you don't belong here. And I was on television with nothing but top guys. I mean, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Kane. There's probably like 5 other guys I'm 100% forgetting, but like it was brutal, and to try to scratch and claw to get recognized and noticed, and to get that little bit of TV time that I was allotted, like it was a lot different. Now I think it's more laid back, I think that's probably the best way to say it. It's a relaxed atmosphere.
In the last few months, at any point did you have a face-to-face with Vince?
I saw him. I saw him at the Towers. Because again, everything happened so fast. So Monday before Thanksgiving, get a phone call. Oh, we realize we can do this, and I was just and again, Nick Khan hey man, if it doesn't happen by Saturday, Royal Rumble. And I was like, Nick, I don't want to give away any leverage in negotiation, but Saturday's the business. Like that, it has to happen. So hammering out a deal, Saturday debut, Sunday I'm at home and I'm like, man, this is strange. I don't know what we're doing, where this is going, but it feels right. And then I get a call, oh, hey, we should probably get you travel to TV. We're in Nashville. So I fly to Nashville. I think I went home and I can't remember where I flew from there, but it was a SmackDown. And that night they were just like, do you want to come on the jet? You do NXT? And I just went, yeah, sounds great. So we're flying by the seat of our pants. We're doing all this stuff real last minute. And I had a carry-on, so I didn't have any clothes. So, as long as you guys find me a place to do my laundry, I need a gym, got to work out. We'll give you a tour of the new towers. You come to the gym. Oh, great. It's always a badass gym. Everything was state-of-the-art, and I was in there, and I was on the phone on a treadmill warming up, and Vince's trainer's like, hey, he's like, you gotta get off the phone. Vince doesn't like it when people are on the phone in the gym. And I was on the phone with Nick. I was just kind of like, oh, okay,
yeah.
All right, And then I saw him walking down into the gym. He came in for his daily workout. Yeah.
And what was that like?
And he gave me a big hug. He said, welcome home. Good to see you. Let's connect after I work out. And I was like, all right. Haven't seen him since.
You didn't connect?
No. I think some stuff came up, Ariel.
Oh, I thought literally like an hour later. I didn't know if he was like, come up to the office and let's have a tete-a-tete.
No, I had to go.
Okay.
I had to work out.
Is that the only conversation that you've had with him since returning? Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what's transpired since?
How do you feel? There's no positivity there. There's very much I didn't read all the allegations. I read text messages, and I went, oh, fuck this. Like, what? It's indefensible, And I think, doing this, I'd imagined I was going to be asked about it, And I think the easiest thing for people to do is to kind of ignore it or avoid it. But man, it's there. And my initial first thing out of my mouth was, I'm kind of shocked at how dumb he was, like writing stuff down and leaving that paper trail. And it's horrific. And I'm not like, I think at this point, all the energy should be used to somehow, I don't even know if you can make reparations or amends, but there's victims here, So like what CM Punk thinks about Vince and the CM Punk Vince relationship doesn't fucking mean anything. All that stuff takes a back seat. I'm more concerned about like going forward, how do those people survive after suffering all that trauma? My biggest concern,
Do you think that the business is better off if he's not in it?
At this point, how do you say anything but no? But yeah, the business. Right. Have a field day with that one. How do you say anything but yes? The business is better without.
Obviously, you weren't around for the last 10 years, but did you know? Let's be honest. Vince McMahon wasn't an angel. Everyone knew that he wasn't an angel. But this is like next level. This is evil, right? Like this is next level stuff. If what is being alleged is true, right? Did you have any idea that this type of behavior was going on behind the scenes?
No. And again, the biggest thing I can draw a comparison to is when Chris Benoit did a murder-suicide, right? I was friends with Chris Benoit. And I don't know if it's just how I process things, but I'm famously like on camera weeping, saying goodbye to Chris because at the time we didn't know, right? We didn't know he had, murdered his wife and his son. And the week prior, we're in Dothan, Alabama, and I'm traveling with him, and we're on the road, and he grabs me and runs me into the trainer's room, and he points, and his little son is in the corner and he's taped up his hands and he's drawn X's on his hands,
Wow.
you know? So, like, coming to terms with that's my friend, he did this horrible thing. Obviously, fuck him, fuck that. But then, you know, like, I don't have memories of Chris Benoit traveling with me and, you know, murdering people at the gym.
Right.
So there was never any instances where I'd, you know, be in a room with Vince and he's shitting on somebody or sexually assaulting somebody. You know, it wasn't like Caligula in Rome. We just didn't see it, you know. But there's that part of me that goes, just like Benoit, okay. I can see that. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer's mother wasn't like, oh, I can see my boy doing that. No, like, people are shocked that their friend or mentor or whatever is responsible for doing these horrible things. But I'm just more of I guess I'm pragmatic, where I just kind of looked and I went, yeah, okay, all right, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of nutty, you know. Chris is kind of intense. He's quiet, and then you just, you know, you build that in your head, you know. But it's very, very hard to reconcile. I heard what Becky said, where she, you know, like, because Vince is a father figure to a lot of people. Vince, I think, liked to develop the father relationship, and I think that's where he was always fascinated with me, because I was just like, fuck you, I got a dad. I don't, you know, you're my boss.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just keep it that way. But it's been a while. Like, it's just been wild. All that shit. It's sad.
Yeah, no, it's sad, and again, like I said, it's evil.
He ruined his life. And he ruined his life, ruining other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's very much a part of me that's just like, all right, we got him, good. Shuffle him into the basement.
I struggle with asking you some of these questions, and you can say whatever you want, if only because I have so much respect for the business.
Yeah.
So I will ask you the question. You can tell me to fuck off.
Okay.
What was the plan for you for WrestleMania? That's what everyone. That's like the $64 million question at this point, because they want to try to we want to try to put this together. Like, was this the original plan? Did it go here? Did it go then there because of the injury? So could you tell us, as of Royal Rumble, what was the plan for you for April 6th and 7th?
It changed a lot, you know, because I came back in and I told Triple H, I was like, look, man, I'm not here to steal anybody's spotlight, take anybody's main event. Like, I get it. I was pissed 10 years ago when I had to sit through Rock Cena 2 years in a row, you know, and now, but everything's different. Mania's 2 nights now. So more people get that opportunity. And for me, it was always just about the booker in my head. You cannot become main event talent unless you work with other main event talent. You cannot become main event talent unless you work in the main event spots that are normally afforded only for the main event talent, right? And that's just what I craved, was more knowledge, more experience. I want to be that guy. I want to see if I can be that guy, because I know I can. I know there's people that don't think I can, so that's more motivation to show them that, yes, 100%, I am that guy. The plan, I think, was going to be me and Seth.
For his belt?
Yeah.
Would it have been main event of night 1?
I believe so, yeah.
Which would
but
have
again,
right.
I came in and I said, I'm not asking questions. You know, you're
I saw that in your video blog, the one leading up to Royal Rumble that they put together, where you're on the treadmill and you're like, before I used to stress about X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Now you're just kind of letting.
What am I doing at TV?
Right.
Where are we going with this? The booker
in
my head. I'm looking 6 months, 8 months, 12 months into the future. Like, what are we doing? You know? And now, after doing all that and all the experiences I've had, I'm just kind of just like, all right.
Did you like that, though? If that was it, would you have been happy with that?
Me and Seth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's history there. There's a story there.
Was a part of you hoping for something else? You, Roman, you, Cody, you were content with this?
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, Roman, I think, is the guy right now. So if you were to say to anybody on the roster, you're going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, who do you want to wrestle? You say Roman.
Mm-hmm.
That's the business formula. That's what you do. You know, and there's other people, but they're like me. They're like semi-retired, you know, and stuff. But yeah, I could sink my teeth into me and stuff.
How are you and Roman? What is your relationship like? Because I did
We hate each other.
I did an
Everybody
interview with
hates
him in
Everybody hates
2021.
me.
No, that's not true. And he commented on your return.
Mhm.
And then he made T-shirts off of this, the Needle Mover T-shirt
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
How do you guys get along?
It's all business, baby. Yeah.
As you said, you're not here to make friends. You're here to make business or make money.
I'm not here to make friends. If I have some friends from my prior 10 years in the company, awesome. You know, if I make some friends along the way, that's just sprinkles on top of a cupcake. I'm here to do business and make money. But the ironic thing about that is you wind up becoming friends with the people you make money with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you and Paul Heyman? You referenced him, the wise man, right? How are you guys now?
We're great. It's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you be there?
Oh, yeah, I can't miss that. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. How do you feel about the way things have shaken out now? You know, Rock comes back. We think he's going to take Cody's spot. Like, just Booker now.
Yeah.
I'm talking to, Phil the Booker. How do you feel about this?
I like it because, to me, you always want to leave people asking questions. And our audience is much wider than the internet, right? I know a lot of kids are on the internet, YouTube and TikTok and all that other stuff, but the TV audience is so much broader and it's global. So Rock coming back is huge, you know? It gets a lot of eyeballs on different people, and what that does is creates an environment where, okay, you got to step up. I did it 10 years ago when I wrestled The Rock. I very much had that chip on my shoulder that was just like, okay, show him you belong. You know, show him you can swim with the sharks. And now you have Cody and Seth in there in the mix, and they've been building this story for 2 years with Bloodline and Cody, and he lost last WrestleMania, so he gets another shot. And I am not the biggest fan of doing the main event of WrestleMania 2 years in a row. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But if you can make it this good, who am I to say it's bad? You know? I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking very forward to that tag match.
Was it the right call to have Roman beat Cody last year?
I mean, look where we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could go either way. I mean, because you're asking me a question, and it's fantasy booking, and I could fantasy book it the other way, where Cody does win, but the string of business that we're on, and the string of business that they've done prior to me even coming back, it's pretty impressive, and that's what pro wrestling business is about. It's about making money.
This version of The Rock, like Hollywood Rock, the heel Rock, all that,
Yeah.
Versace, swearing, F-bombs.
Yes.
Your thoughts on it? The promos on social media, the stuff that he's been doing there?
I'm more offended at insider wrestling terms being bantered about than I am about F-bombs. I'm not the FCC. I'm not on the board of directors. I don't fucking care if somebody swears. I feel like I started all that because I remember cutting a promo on Rock on the stage and he was in the ring and I was just like, cool, we're all going to swear, blah, blah, blah. So I see both sides now. You can't argue that he is this big. So does he get to break rules? Fucking absolutely. Guess what? So do I. And is it unfair? Maybe. I'm not ever trying to do anything malicious. I'm not using a set of tools that are completely off limits to somebody else. It's not my company, but again, the booker in me, if somebody lower on the card is going to drop an F-bomb on television, it's got to be as good as when Rock fucking did it. Because otherwise you're in trouble.
So you don't like heel and things like that being
No,
used?
I don't like that
That's
stuff.
too close to the bone.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's other ways to do it.
Okay.
And that's the fun thing about pro wrestling. There's always different ways to do things,
August of 2023, London. You arrive in London.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, go ahead.